Hi everybody, this is Gary McLean again here. We're going to work on our shelters that we talked about last week, and we're going to have my kids practice them. But before we get into that, I'm going to show you a little bit about site selection and picking your spot to build your shelter and some things you should look for. And so as we're here in Veredale, just on some vacant land in the woods here, we'll talk about where to put your shelters. And if you look around, it's pretty flat and level up here. And so some of the things that we'll look for around here is we want to avoid hazards, and some of those hazards would be potholes, game trails, insect mounds, dead trees, things of that nature, steep slopes either below it or up above it, and so we'll avoid those types of areas. And as Sophie pans back over to this side, you can see a tree that I was going to use, but you can see, and we'll walk over this way, come on, so you see that the beetles have gotten to it, and so it's dead and dying, and the other tree that I was going to use to tie to it is also dead, and so we're not going to tie to those types of trees. Something else I'm going to do, you can back up, so is if I'm looking around, I want to avoid any leaning trees as well. And so if I look around, hold my hand up about a 45 and just kind of go around. If there's anything leaning and the tops are within that range, I want to get back up and move to another location, all right? So we're going to start with my daughter Ellie here in a minute, and she's going to build something that we called a Ranger Diamond. All right, we're back here with Ellie.
Hi.
All right, and last week we learned a couple of knots, and we're going to start with one called the timber hitch to get our shelter figured out here or started. And this is just the Ranger Diamond. And when we're doing this, we're going to set the top of our shelter at roughly her belly button to her belt height for her to get in the shelter. And so she's going to wrap this line around the tree, around that height. There you go. And Sophie, can you come on in here real quick and zoom in on the knot so you can... Okay, remember we're gonna go right here, and what do? She's just wrapping it around the line back on itself at least 4 or 5 times. And then we're gonna pull it tight. We'll slide it and we'll pull it tight. And that's called a timber hitch. That's a friction knot, and it's not gonna go anywhere, okay? All right, and now we're gonna go out here to the other end of our material that we've got, and we just use the 5x7 tarp here. And so Ellie, come on down here. And hold on to that, and we'll grab you a tent stake. And a little hammer here from my partner. All right, and so, there we go. And we're gonna set our stake. Okay, back off the line. There you go. We're going to set our stake a little, roughly a foot away. Can you come on this side with me so that you're looking at the camera and you can see what you're doing? All right, I'll hold it, and we're going to angle it away from our shelter or tarp a little bit. Please don't hit my hand. There you go. Keep going. Okay, that's in there. And
I need to tie a knot.
what are you going to tie? We can do just a couple of half hitches, so we just wrap. So I'm going to take it and twist and wrap it around and cinch it down. And that's not going to go anywhere for now. Okay? All right, now we're going to do the same thing on 2 other sides here. So Ellie, I'll get you a couple more, so you just keep videoing Ellie.
About like...
We went about a foot out. So we're gonna pull it tight. Careful when you're doing this so you don't hit your fingers on that stake. She's missed a couple times and got really lucky she didn't tag her fingers there. All right. All right, Ellie, can you go around the other side and do it? All right, we're gonna pull it out this way so we can get it tight. All right, Ellie, you go ahead and put your other one right here. Okay, I don't want you to hit your fingers there. So if you need some help from your parents, don't be afraid to ask or don't be embarrassed. Now we've got extra line sitting here, so we don't want to be tripping over that stuff. So I'm gonna just kind of I don't want to wrap it all the way around the stake, but I want to set it around the stakes themselves. All right, and Sophie, if you look, can you look inside the shelter there? Ellie, let's see you climb in there. And this is one problem with this particular shelter, is it's a little bit sloped at the top or the front of it there, but not bad. You say hi in there, Ellie?
Hi.
Now, how much room do you got in there?
Not a lot.
Not a lot height-wise, but do you have a lot of room to spread out?
Oh, yeah.
What if you had like your sleeping bag and your backpack and all of your stuff with you? You got plenty of room to do that, right?
Yeah.
All right, come on out. Hi everybody, it's Gary again, back out here in the wilds of Veradell, and we're going to make another video of a different type of shelter. This is a no-pole A-frame type shelter. I'm going to find two trees that are approximately 8 to 10 feet apart. I've got a good spot there, fairly level ground, a little bit of a slope to it. Again, none of the hazards that we talked about. And the one thing I'm going to do before I even build my shelter is clean up the ground in front of me here where I'm going to be laying underneath it. So I would just get all this pretty nice clean ground here. I've got my trees 8 to 10 feet apart, and now I'm going to grab my tarp, and you can use tarp, you can use blankets, and I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. To build something like this, preferably if you're building a shelter outdoors, you want something waterproof though, so a piece of visqueen plastic, like garden plastic, any of that kind of stuff that you got laying around. So I've got the middle of this is this grommet here, so I will start. This is called the girth hitch, and I'm just going to take the running end and the body of the line, make a loop, put it through the grommet, and then I just take all of the line back through that loop, and that is called the girth hitch, and it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to do that, and then I will go around here using my timber hitch about navel high on me 4 or 5 times. Now that's not going to go anywhere. Same thing on the other side. Starting with that girth hitch again. And on this one, you can do a couple different things. Something, if you want to come on in, I will show you another trick here. So I've got it pulled tight, and you can see that I've just wrapped back around the body here. So, and then I'm going to pinch it right there, make a loop, and then push up and through there, pull back on itself, and that is called a trucker's hitch. And I will put a safety in that, because all I have to do to untie this knot is pull this part right here. So again, I pull it tight, pinch, create that loop, push the body through underneath the part against the tree, and cinch it back against itself. Now I'm going to take this extra tail, I'm going to put a twist in it, put this loop here through the twist I just made, and tighten that, and now it's not going to come undone. So again, I didn't have to use any poles, I didn't have to use anything other than just some line. So now all I've got is my 4 corners to stake out. All right, so you can see that I've gone around to each of the corners, and I've made my pot line hitch and got it all nice and tight. And so you can see it's roughly, it's a 5x7 tarp, so it's plenty big enough, and I can climb in here, and I have spent many a nights underneath something like this with rain and wind, and been perfectly dry and safe. I've spent nights like this in the winter, just right there with my sleeping pad and a little bit of insulation in a sleeping bag, and I've been just fine. And so we'll do some more videos later and try and get some more enclosed shelters for you. But I appreciate it, and I hope you guys have some fun building your shelters. See you next week.